everybody? Welcome to tonight's show, guys. Trump is taking an early lead, and this is awesome. If you are for Trump, I'm telling you what. In the 2024 election, we're getting some unexpected states that are now moving in the favor of Donald Trump. One is Nevada, that's usually very purple and usually leans blue. For the past 4 or 5 elections, it's been blue. But now Virginia is actually coming into play. If Trump wins just Virginia and Nevada, he may not even need Pennsylvania because he would have the rest of the states. But it's really looking like he's taking the lead across not only the swing states, which he has the lead, but across other new toss-up states. We now have also, guys, this is big, new evidence today of why Kamala Harris has over $1 billion in her campaign war chest. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, came out today and said they have found new evidence that overseas donors are using the Democratic platform to exploit the campaign finance loopholes through Act Blue and are making donations in large amounts through random people's names without their knowledge. So somebody overseas is trying to get Kamala Harris elected. Also, Trump is now proposing the largest tax cut ever to hit Americans in Lord knows when. He wants to remove federal taxes from people's paychecks. This would save, on average, people from $4,000 to $12,000 a year in taxes. This would stimulate the economy, really help people just be able to afford stuff big time. So we got a lot of additional breaking news tonight, guys. I want to say thank you so much to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And thank you to all of our subscribers and members of the channel. The link is in the description to join. And thank you so much to everybody that gives a super chat donation that supports us as we continue to grow this community, grow this channel. Everybody's already lighting it up in the chat, guys. Too big to rig. Let me hear you say it in the chat. Love you all. Let's get right into this news because it is going to be a good night. Check this out.
12 days to go. Can you believe it? Well, the race is still historically very tight, but 2 new and very big polls now show Trump leading nationally. The Wall Street Journal has him up by 2 points, 47 to 45, and a new CNBC poll also has him up by 2. Both are within the margin of error. But to capitalize on what they believe is a building wave, Trump is everywhere, hitting Nevada and Arizona today.
When we win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. We're going to restore our country.
Let's go.
And there's a new report of infighting among Kamala's staff after numerous underwhelming performances. And of course, it gets even worse for her. Kamala's CNN town hall was so bad, even the Washington Post panned it. Tonight, she's in Georgia, dragging out old Bruce Springsteen and Barack Obama to beg for votes, which brings me to Kamala's just a riot. That's the focus of tonight's angle.
Man.
More than 25 million Americans have already voted, and we knew that if things started to look kind of positive for Trump, the Harris hit squad would need an October surprise. But we didn't think it would be October 1943. Well, I guess Democrats' fear-mongering about abortion wasn't quite getting it done for them, so they dropped the F-bomb. Yeah, their closing argument is that the man with Jewish grandchildren, a Jewish daughter, who is a stalwart friend of Israel, is a closet fascist who invokes Hitler. Who knew Trump was such a talented actor?
Today, we finally acknowledge the obvious, that Jerusalem is Israel's capital. The Jewish state has never had a better friend in the White House than your president, Donald J. Trump. That I can tell you. After 8 long years in which our alliance was undermined and neglected, I am happy to report that the United States-Israeli relationship is stronger now than ever before.
Now, in fact, Trump was so pro-Israel as president, Pew Research even found that 42% of American Jews thought he favored Israel too much.
Wow.
So all of this is ludicrous, and it's so low that it almost doesn't even merit a serious response. I was thinking of it this way. If our generals can't recognize the difference between fascism under Hitler and the American populist movement under Trump, well, the angle questions what is being taught in our military academies. Of course, this smear was careful.
Thank you so much, Judy Lynn Loving, for the super chat. Says, go Trump. Thank you, Joel, for the news. Let's go. Y'all show Judy Lynn some love in the chat, everybody.
Fully choreographed and timed. Step 1, the New York Times interview with John Kelly. Step 2, get Kelly to drop the F-bomb. Step 3, Anderson Cooper asked Kamala for her reaction.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I also believe that the people who know him best on this subject should be trusted.
And step 4, the press poodles snap into action as instant validators with somber faces and dire warnings.
Trump's fascism is the lead story every day. His cozying up to dictators, his obsession with Hitler that has now come out.
I still see this as General Kelly and those other generals, they're still protecting America, right? This isn't about partisanship.
The language, the actions of political rhetoric is 1930s Germany. We got to wake up. This is not hyperbole. This isn't entertainment value.
Oh, wait, he just said it's like Germany, Hitler's Germany, but it's not hyperbole. Trump shot all of this down moments ago in an interview with our own Bill Maloogian.
She did call me a fascist, and everyone knows that's not true. They call me everything until,
They
something
do.
sticks.
I want to give you a chance to respond to your former chief of staff, John Kelly, directly. He said some things about you, essentially accusing you of disparaging American soldiers in an Atlantic article. When's the last time you talked to him, and how would you like to respond?
Years ago, I fired him. He was a bully, he was a bad guy, and he ended up being a weak guy because all bullies end up being weak. And he wasn't a smart guy. It's a bad combination. But I fired him. He made a statement that I'm like Hitler. It's just couldn't be further from the truth. It's just the opposite, actually.
Now, think about it. The Democrats, they're the party that allowed anti-Semitism on college campuses to fester and to grow.
Boom.
And it's the party where, look, Jewish students didn't feel safe walking to their own dorm rooms. And the party's claiming that Trump now has a Hitler-esque fascination. These people haven't just lost their way. They've apparently lost their minds. And while it is tempting to just kind of laugh in their faces, given the sheer absurdity and the venality of all this, there may be something deeper and more sinister to what they're spewing. Now, while we know that most people will tune out these hideous smears, some will believe them. There are whack jobs out there with hero complexes who will listen and believe it is their duty to stop Trump by any means necessary.
And this is what really bothers me too, is because they literally call Trump a fascist, which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically that he believes in authoritarian, he's a dictator, whatnot. He never did that in 2016 through 2020. And on top of that, the same party that had a coup to get Biden out, to put Kamala Harris in, was these authoritarian Obama, Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, these three people, Hillary Clinton, who all decided to say, hey, we want Biden out, so let's put him in. To me, that is what is authoritarian. They keep calling Trump what they are. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Now, we already had two freaks try to kill Donald Trump in a 2-month span. Oddly, we still don't know what compelled Thomas Crooks to try to murder Trump in Butler. And we still don't really know why Ryan Routh, flew across the country to set up his assassination perch in those bushes. But it is not illogical, in the absence of any countervailing facts, to assume that they believe that, what they were hearing, what they were seeing, and what they were reading about the 45th president. And it is not illogical to believe that they decided to take action.
And that's right here, because it's not just ending with there. They're trying to double down just days before the election. All this stuff is popping across because, with Kamala Harris, they're trying to make her look as good as possible. The media is coming to defend her, but at the same time, too, They're trying to call, like what could you be called worse than Hitler? And this right here, look at the additional information Bongino and his people are finding out. Check it out.
Claiming like her superpower here, she tries to reframe a question, is that she studies too much. Kamala Harris has a reputation for being lazy and not doing her homework. Don't ask me, ask the staffers who quit and leaked it to the media. I don't know Kamala Harris's study habits. I don't know her. Here, watch this, and then receipts incoming afterwards. Check this out.
So I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes, because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess.
Folks, someone in a focus group, again, told her, you have a reputation for being unprepared, for being lazy, and for not doing your homework. So if you get the opportunity, try and reframe a question and tell everyone how smart you are and land that plane, that you're kind of a nerd. The problem is, you've got to back that up. You've got to give it. Time out. Got the perfect answer for you. I'm way too into today's show. The kid's got to calm down. Who's the kid? Two thumbs in this guy's kid. J.D. Vance. If J.D. Vance were to give that answer and say, what's my weakness? You know, a little bit of a nerd. Sometimes I read too much into stuff, and, you know, maybe sometimes I need to speak from the heart or something. I'm not saying J.D. would, and he doesn't speak, he does. I would say if he gave that answer, you'd be like, yeah, okay. Because J.D., every time you ask him a question about any issue at all, J.D., tell us about first to invent versus first to file on patents. Well, let me tell you something. There's a strong case to be made for both. But I think, personally, the intellectual property, he'll give you would believe it. The problem Kamala Harris has is this. Washington Examiner, Beckett Adams. To her staff, Kamala Harris is a clueless bully who refuses to do her homework. This is from January of 2022. It's not me. Oh my gosh, you're calling her lazy. How dare you do that? I'm not calling her lazy. Her staff's calling her lazy. And she proves it every day because she can never give an answer on anything. She doesn't look like she knows anything because why, guys? Because she doesn't. She doesn't actually know anything for defeat. She's not going to, Kamala Harris. They're not going to concede this thing no matter what. I'll be stunned. Unless the media pressures them to, but they're going to try to save her. You're going to see more of this. Watch this CNN clip, and I'll show you. Watch the CNN panel totally melt down. This is what I'm talking about. There's now a very credible story surfacing, being reported by the Daily Mail, that Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff, and it's an allegation, everybody's innocent, so proven guilty. I actually believe in that, of the lefty scum out there. However, the allegation is that Doug Emhoff, the second gentleman, could be the first gentleman, God forbid she wins, smacks some woman in the face. Now, she's now coming out again saying, he hit me so hard that I turned around. Now, we were told by the left, believe all women. She's now doubling down on this story. That story comes out, the left wing completely ignores it. Yet a story surfaced yesterday so ridiculous on its face that, oh my gosh, Donald Trump tried to grope someone or something. No one has any evidence it's actually true. It's another Russia collusion hoax. And the media was like, I don't know, there could be something, even though nobody's seen it, nobody's heard it, nothing. Watch how Scott Jennings is handled on CNN, the Republican commentator, when he even brings up this believe all women Doug Emhoff thing. Check this out.
Bakari, I listened to your entire filibuster. If you could just give me 13 seconds.
I'll give you 12 because he said grab him by the.
And so when you think about the things he has said in order to sell those records, and you also consider some of the questions that are swirling around Harris's own husband in this regard.
Oh my God. Okay, you don't even get 12 seconds. I'm not going to let you go into the far end of BS.
Scott,
you can't go. Listen, I can't represent you in the defamation case.
We're gonna stop here for a second.
Wow.
I can't represent.
That's been actually blowing up X right now over Harris's husband and this woman that he allegedly, hit or something like that. And they won't even talk about it. They want to talk about everything else that Trump has done, but the one thing you can't, like I'm telling you, it's so, it's cringy sometimes.
Sent you in a defamation case? He's a news commentator reporting on a public figure who has an allegation that has now been reported by a credible media outlet. What's the defamation? He didn't say it was true. He said it was an allegation, exactly which is what it is. But notice how they'll happily report on Trump said 100 years ago, well, he wasn't even born 100 years, doesn't matter. He said he loves the Nazis or something. Oh, really? Who heard him say it? The barber bought a bagel from a guy named Tony, who's a dog walker for a dude named Angelo. And Angelo's cousin's brother heard it from the foreman on the job, who heard it from his wife, Alicia. Yeah, that's definitely true. So you notice it's not defamation then. This is what's going to happen. You are going to get figuratively punched in the face over the next few days. Just put your hands up. How do you put your hands up? You don't magnify this stuff. I didn't mean how you actually. We're talking in figurative terms. Don't magnify it on Twitter. Just simply point out hoax in all caps. You don't need to do anything else. Another hoax. That's it. Nobody believes it. Nobody buys it. And I want to show you, because receipts matter, how the left-wing hoax, commie, agitprop, North Korean scum media is now melting down because their latest Trump Hitler hoax or whatever, it's all just collapsed. Jennifer Rubin, one of the most pathetic human beings on planet Earth, a woman who, how she is still employed in any job is just stunning. She's known for being spectacularly wrong on the major political stories of the day, is losing her mind. What is wrong with the media that the John Kelly Atlantic Hitler story is not dominating? They simply don't understand the stakes, or they are intent on currying favor with the MAGA gang. It's a disgrace. No, Jen, you're a disgrace. You're trying to parrot another hoax by an outlet known for parroting Trump hoaxes. You work for a paper that has already parroted a number of repeatedly debunked bull, and now you're just breaking down. And I'm going to tell you, the shout and fraud is real. I know it's not great, but I am enjoying the glorious meltdown of the left. It's gotten so bad. It's gotten so bad that who do they bring out to parrot this Trump? How many times are you going to call this guy Hitler? I mean, you've been doing it for 8 years. It is clearly collapsed and fallen apart.
People
How
don't believe
bad does it have to be that you bring out John Brennan, the Lord of the Eastern Territories of the Russia collusion hoax, a disgusting filth bag human being who, I'm telling you, if he was on fire, I wouldn't piss on this guy to put him out. He is an absolute life loser. This guy has destroyed the country, has abused nearly every position power he's been in to promote collusion hoaxes and destroy faith in the intelligence community. A disgusting garbage pile. Have I said enough? How bad does it have to be? There we go. They got him now. Good one, Guy. Look at that. Mostly Peaceful memes. By the way, that's a great account, at Mostly Peaceful. You should check them out.
Look at this,
really
guys.
Cool.
This is
check
so ridiculous.
That is total. That's it, folks. They nailed them now. They nailed. That's evidence. Total receipts. Trump, Hitler, definitely. 100%. You guys nailed it. That's it. That's what you. I mean, it's just embarrassing. It's freaking embarrassing how a party that embraces the death to Israel from the river to the sea, we love Hamas, Hezbollah, has dared to claim that we're the
party of the Nazis, is what he says, but, he goes into another word. I'm telling you guys, nobody believes it anymore. You know why? Because, look, the numbers say it. Right now, this is the latest on the betting markets. Trump is winning 64.1% to 35.9%. Now, this is changing every single day. You can see it right here. But the good thing is that there's an upward trend. Right now, we look 71% Arizona, Nevada 64% to win, Pennsylvania 59% to win. I would love to see this in a landslide. But I'm telling you, they have been working behind the scenes. Remember, you don't hear anything about Trump and Russia collusion, right? But look what's happening. This is literally from Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, who literally says There's now more evidence that illicit overseas donors are using the corrupt donor platform ActBlue to exploit campaign finance loopholes and make donations in the names of people without their knowledge. These are fraudulent, illegal practices that cannot be tolerated. So now you know, guys, why Kamala Harris has over $1 billion in her war chest, because it's coming from overseas. It's not just Americans shelling out because they believe in her. It's because there's people that do not want Trump to be president because he is strong and he'll go and kick everybody's butt who tries to treat the U.S. wrong. And that's why they're trying to make her president. Check this out.
Mock Trump over the wall and laugh about it. You should then come up with a solution. You don't mock something and then when they ask, well, what are you going to do? And you go, let's go to break.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that people forget that one of the reasons that there was only that portion of the wall that got built is because when they were in Congress and Trump was trying to deal with them, they blocked it. The Democrats blocked it.
They blocked it.
I think what Kamala Harris has done is made Trump look better in retrospect because he fought for the wall, she fought against it, and is now saying we need it, and she's putting it in her campaign ads.
Right. It's crazy. It's true, Judge. He fought for the wall. She fought against it. But when she's asked about it, she then mocks him for not succeeding in the wall. It's actually, she's assuming all of us have the same memory that Joe Biden has now.
It's stunning. It is stunning that she is so clueless. How is this woman even running for president? I mean, I knew girls in high school who ran for president who could answer a question better.
I can answer
Dana and I were meant to.
Questions better.
Well, yeah, that's us, you know. But anyway, but the point here is this. We all know that she was a border czar. Whether you want to call her that or something else, we know what her job was. She sat back and did nothing. Okay? She keeps reminding us that she's a prosecutor. Any prosecutor with an ounce of law enforcement in her blood would have said, women are being trafficked, children are being trafficked, women are being raped, fentanyl is crossing, the drug cartels are crossing. Let's get all the AGs, let's get the U.S. attorneys, let's go down to that border. I mean, to be in that position and be able to affect it, it is exciting, it's exhilarating for someone like myself. But instead, what we've got are people unvetted coming and committing crimes. And you know who should be claiming asylum? The American people who need asylum from Tren de Aragua, from MS-13, from the $150 billion that we have spent in 2023 for illegals who are in this country who never asked permission.
You hear that? $153 billion spent in 2023 on illegals. But we can't give more than $750 to our own American brothers and sisters who literally lost everything. $153 billion, guys. This is mind-blowing. This is the administration that people want to be in presidency. It's literally sick.
Who demanded to come here, who live in hotels in New York City and Los Angeles, and then demand better food than what they have. These are literally crimes against America, and she committed them.
You know, Jesse, much like your hairpiece, you could see these questions coming from a mile away. They've been the same questions week after week, and yet she hasn't bothered to up her game at all.
The answers have gotten worse.
Yes.
She's gone from boring to annoying. It's like, Kamala, what time's the sunrise? First, I'd like to talk about the moon. Oh, my God. You know, this country has a short attention span. We want answers, and we want answers quickly. It's like you go to check out at the grocery store, whatever. You just want to pay. And the woman's like, can I have your email address, please? Would you like to sign up for our rewards program? Oh, my God, I got to get out of here. You're flipping around. You want to hear what her answers are because no one knows who she is. And she has asked a direct question. You like the wall? Yes or no? Donald Trump is a fascist. Come on, just answer the question about the wall. She said the wall idea was stupid when Trump did it, but when she's going to do it, it's a good idea. Trump built 500 miles of wall. She built zero. None of what she's saying is making any sense. 500. That's according to the Fox News brain room. I dare you to insult the integrity of this company.
And that's it. And that's what I love is I wish so bad that they would have asked her, hey, Anderson Cooper, so Trump built this amount of wall. How much did y'all build? Oh, wait, you didn't build any because you stopped the whole construction. And the only reason that you are is because you lost in court to a federal judge who is forcing you now to build the wall. That's the only reason that the Biden-Harris administration say they want to build the wall now. But I'm telling you, people are waking up. I love this video you're about to see. This is, to me, real life of what's going on. Check it out.
What are you undecided about?
Yeah, what are you undecided about?
They haven't promised anything for black people, man. Like, it's bullshit. What do we vote
for? Sorry, y'all.
Excuse my lack of terminology. Ice Cube went to Donald Trump and Biden with the daggone contract for Black America. Trump created something called the Platinum Plan.
Yep, yes he did.
$500 million to the black community, but they went the other way. And I'll give you something else even better than that. $487 million to this count right now spent on illegals. $500 million was promised to you by Trump that Biden spent on illegals. What you undecided about? The lies you've been told? The truth you don't want to look for? Do you realize the majority of all media is Democrat? How you going to get something from the other side if you only listen to one side? I could have sworn there was 3 sides to the story. Yours, mine, and the truth. Well, if you're watching nothing but Democratic damn TV, what side are you getting? One? So when you was in school, when you was a kid, nobody wanted to hear your side. Was that fair? That's what you're doing right now. What the hell are you blinded by? Your life has been hardened in 4 years. And you let the people that made your life hard tell you that the previous 4 years that were great didn't exist and can't be replicated by the person that did it? Are you really that daggone scared? Because I can't call you stupid. That's fear-mongering. Because fear is one of the daggone most motivating things in life.
I'm telling you guys, people, I've never seen what we're seeing now more than ever. That people are literally switching sides. People are fed up with everything that they've seen. And they're like, look, you cannot keep lying to us. We know what's going on. Check this out. This meme came out. This was from one of the interviews that Kamala Harris did. The reporter asked her, were you honest about Biden's decline? She literally says, Joe is perfectly capable. And then she asks, then why are you the candidate? You see, now they can't cover it up. They're literally getting to the point where all they're trying to do is talk about how bad Trump is. And I love it because this is what Trump is talking about. Trump flirts with the ultimate tax cut. No income taxes at all. So Trump is over here focused on the American people, focused on putting more money back into their pockets. And all the Democrats are worried about is what? Oh, we got to make sure we got to keep calling Trump a fascist. We got to keep calling him this, keep calling him that. But this is the thing. No matter what, I feel like more than ever, let me know what you think about it in the comment section. The American people are starting to wake up. Check this out.
Fumbling the most basic questions. What's your economic policy? How are you different than Joe? What's your vision for America? She won't answer because her handlers are trying to run her as a moderate, a tax-cutting border hawk with a Glock. But when she's tempted to express her radical side, she can't help herself.
Would you be in favor of expanding the court to, say, 12?
I do believe that there should be some kind of reform of the court, and we can study what that actually looks like.
And if Congress doesn't let her do what she wants, she's going to kill the filibuster.
You talked about codifying Roe v. Wade. That would obviously require 60 votes in the Senate, a majority of the House. That's a big leap. We don't have that yet. If that's not possible to codify it in the House, what do you do?
I think we need to take a look at the filibuster, to be honest with you.
So once the court and the filibuster are dead, she can start setting the price of cheese.
What would you do to bring prices down for Americans?
Part of my plan is to create a new approach that is the first time that we will have a national ban on price gouging.
So Kamala went from Liz Cheney to Hugo Chavez in 24 hours. Which candidate is acting like a dictator again?
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So Kamala's campaigning on jailing a rival, detonating the Supreme Court, filibuster, and Electoral College. not to mention doing away with supply and demand and flirting with reparations. Oh, and handing out welfare checks to loyalists. But Trump's the dictator. Kamala's bragging about getting rid of constitutional checks and balances so she could become the most powerful commander-in-chief in the history of the United States. More powerful than any of the other 46 presidents that served before her. She thinks she knows better than the framers. And the first time she took the bar exam, she failed it. Kamala Harris would have unchecked power in Washington. This is the same woman who snatched the nomination without a single primary vote and has censored free speech and tried to ban handguns in San Francisco. Maybe she's just calling Trump a fascist because she doesn't know what one is. Host of Life, Liberty, and Levin, the #1 show in the weekends here, Mark Levin is here. How you doing, Mark?
My brother? Good. How are you?
Doing great. So Kamala Harris, about a month and a half ago, came out with price controls, and she got whacked, and then didn't talk about it until last night, and she says she wants them. Why is she saying this?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because she's sophomoric. She's an economic illiterate. She believes in the government as police state. So immediately she says, all these farmers, all these companies that package the food, all the work that goes into transporting the food, bringing it to the grocery store, putting it on the shelf, they're all out to get us. They're all purposely raising prices. Now, they weren't doing it during Trump's administration, only during Biden's administration. So her answer is the government. She's running for president of the wrong country. She should be running president for Nicaragua, Venezuela, Cuba, where they're very good at price controls, and the people are very thin there. Have you noticed? They don't have a weight problem or anything of the sort. The people starve. And if we leave it to Kamala Harris, who hasn't spent 15 seconds in the private sector to help feed us, we're all going to starve to death. That's what's going to happen. All she knows is government. That's all she's ever done, except for that phony issue about McDonald's, where nobody has any evidence that she ever worked at McDonald's. No. And she's a plagiarist, and her resume's been puffed up, and all the rest. Maybe somebody could tell me why she's running for president, because, you know, Jesse, she can't tell us why she's running for president. Ooh. Word salad, it's brain salad. She has no reason to be running for president. She's been anointed. She hasn't received a single damn vote. And we're all wondering, and frankly, she's wondering.
Maybe she's trying to fight obesity with price controls.
And I'm telling you this, guys. Thank you so much to the British Perspective. Said my prediction by 8 p.m. November 5th, Trump wins election. Hey, I'd love that. We'd have an early night because I'm planning to go all night on November 5th for the election so that we can, you know, keep y'all updated and just have y'all with all the news. I'm so glad. They're going to be calling Trump a lot of names. They're going to be saying a lot of things about him. But what I love most of all is that he's got somebody who is a pit bull, who is not afraid to stand up and say what needs to be said to make sure that that Donald Trump is not he's not alone. Because remember, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like with Pence was like a little puppy dog. He didn't fight for Trump. He didn't fight like what you're about to see right here. Because they're not just coming up against Trump now. They're coming up against Trump, J.D. Vance, RFK, Tulsi Gabbard. They're coming up against Vivek Ramaswamy. They're coming up against J.D. Vance, Elon Musk. Trump has a dream team that is helping him to defend the United States. Check this out.
Senator, good evening. My name is Dave Kinchin. I'm a reporter with Fox 2 in Detroit, sir. As you know, these polls are very tight, especially right here in Michigan within the margin of error. My question, sir, I wanted to get your reaction to President Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, who told the New York Times that Trump would rule like a dictator and meets the definition of a fascist.
Wow.
Just want to get your reaction, sir.
Yeah, look, you could just... you could just record the boos of the crowd, and that's my response to that question. Look, here's the thing about what John Kelly said. John Kelly was fired by Donald Trump, and he's pissed off about it, and he won't stop talking about it. Now, look, Here's the thing. Every time that John Kelly says something happened, you've got 3 or 4 people who were allegedly in the room when it happened saying he's making it up. Even Mike Pence's chief of staff said that John Kelly is making up a bunch of crap about Donald J. Trump. So who do we believe? Do we believe multiple eyewitnesses, or do we believe a disgruntled ex-employee? I believe the multiple eyewitnesses. I think everything that John Kelly said is not true.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think, I mean, look, you know, you guys are reporters, and I think a lot of the folks here know how this works. John Kelly didn't come out of his own volition. I guarantee he talked to somebody on Kamala Harris's campaign beforehand.
Ooh.
And we got to ask ourselves, why are the media, and most importantly, why is Kamala Harris talking about a disgruntled former employee instead of the fact that under her leadership, grocery prices are up 25% in the state of Michigan? Instead of talking about something that happened 5 years ago, why doesn't Kamala Harris talk about what happened 2 years ago when she cast the deciding vote on trillions of dollars in new spending and made housing, energy, and groceries unaffordable for the people of Michigan?
Boom.
And I not as a vice presidential contender or as a political candidate in this race, I speak as an American citizen, and I am offended for my fellow American citizens when a person is running for president of the United States, not on what she's going to do for the American people, but on a bunch of petty grievances from years ago. Talk about the future, Kamala Harris. Talk about what you want to do, and shut the hell up about what happened 4 years ago.
Ooh! Tell me you don't like J.D. Vance, guys. Oh, man. Him. Look, a lot of people are skeptical of why Trump chose him. But I'm telling you what, when you hear things like that, focus on the American people. Put America first. Stop talking about the past. I love it. Check this out, guys. Oh, wait, it's loading. 1 second. 1 second.
Kamala Harris wanted another debate, and she got one. A debate with herself.
Listen, Kamala Harris participated in a one-person debate last night, and she lost.
She was supposed to close the deal at a CNN town hall last night, but somehow she made things worse.
I'll just tell you what I'm hearing from people who I have been talking to, and that is that if her goal was to close the deal, they're not sure she did that. And you know, some people have asked, is she being held to a different standard? Maybe, but that's maybe the world that she's living in.
Dana, what different standard is she being held to? Is it because she's a woman? Is it because she's black? Is it because she's new at this? Because she's not that new at this. She's been a politician for 20 years.
Life.
They're still making excuses for her. Do you want a president who the media has to make excuses for? We just had that. And that's why Kamala is the nominee. If this was the final job interview, Kamala's not getting a call back. In any job interview, it sounds cliche, but they ask you, what's your biggest weakness?
What weaknesses do you bring to the table, and how do you plan to overcome them while you're in office?
That's a great question, Joe. Well, I am certainly not perfect, so let's start there. And I think that perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength, is I really do value having a team of very smart people around me who bring to my decision-making process different perspectives. My team will tell you, I am constantly saying, let's kick the tire on that. Let's kick the tires on it.
My biggest weakness, I can think of a half a dozen things off the top of my head. I'm impatient. Sometimes I don't listen carefully. Sometimes I'm late. But my biggest weakness is actually my strength. Come on.
So, let me ask you a question right off the bat. What do you think are your greatest strengths as a manager?
Why don't I tell you what my greatest weaknesses are? I work too hard, I care too much, and sometimes I can be too invested in my job.
Wow.
Okay. And your strengths?
Well, my weaknesses are actually strengths.
Kamala is becoming the stereotype of a typical slippery politician who's just too fuzzy to trust.
Is there something you can point to in your life, political life, or in your life in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes, and they range from, you know, if you've ever parented a child, you know you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues and.
Guys, I'm sorry, but like this cannot be the next president of the United States. So nothing is going on up there. If she don't have the teleprompter, she doesn't know how to speak.
I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
You know, Kamala actually touched on something that makes her human. She became a stepmother to Doug's children, and she made some mistakes helping raise them. That's relatable. A lot of Americans deal with that. An answer could give us insight into who Kamala is, but she gives us a phony answer. That her biggest mistake is that she's too prepared? Does anybody believe that Kamala Harris is over-prepared for this job?
Heck no.
Again, off the top of my head, half a dozen things. I was immature in college. I didn't take care of my body in my 30s. I shouldn't have swallowed that pill Gutfeld gave me. She could have killed two birds with one stone and said, well, we probably shouldn't have spent so much money on COVID recovery. We didn't get the number right. How hard is that? You show some humility and then you distance yourself from Biden in the same answer. At this point, I'm not sure Kamala can answer what's your favorite color.
I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess.
Wow.
If this is Kamala Harris studied and well-researched, we're in trouble. She spent 48 hours preparing for this town hall and couldn't even answer this question.
If you could accomplish only one major policy goal that required congressional action, what would it be and why?
Well, there's not just one. I have to be honest with you, Carol. There's a lot of work that needs to happen.
Guys, see right there. She doesn't know how to listen. She doesn't say, well, you know what? Here's the one thing I really want to make sure we get done because this is what is going to matter to the United States, American people, the most.
But I think that maybe part of this point how I think about it is we've got to get past this era of politics and partisan politics, slowing down what we need to do in terms of progress in our country.
She couldn't name a single thing she'd do on day one.
Nothing.
How is this race even close? I'm surprised she didn't say, I'll tell you what I won't do on day one, be a dictator. Trump said, day one, drill, baby, drill, and close the border. Kamala said on day one, I'm going to get past the era of partisan politics, slowing down what we need to do in terms of progress in our country. That's memorable. Oh, yeah, that is so memorable. I'm sure everyone's talking about Kamala's day one agenda. This is when Anderson Cooper started getting annoyed.
Yeah, you can
tell. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't.
But you're agreeing to a bill that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. We need a president who is grounded in common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it. Why is there any ideological perspective on this? Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occurred,
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything.
Wow.
I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
Kamala's campaigning on fixing the problems she created, promising to build a wall that she tore down and called stupid, but now thinks is a good idea. And she's asking the voters to give her the power to do the things that she already has the power to do, but hasn't done.
You've been in the White House for 4 years. You were vice president, not the president. But why wasn't any of that done for the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done.
Okay, they haven't been done because she hasn't done them. She's done nothing except reverse the progress Trump made. We keep waiting for Kamala to have this big breakout moment that justifies her coronation. There has to be some reason the Democrats anointed this woman. And it's 12 days until the election. And they're all asking her the same exact questions and expecting a better answer.
How can we differentiate your policy and your beliefs from that of Biden's?
That's a great question, and thank you. Well, first of all, my administration will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring to this role my own ideas and my own experience. I represent a new generation of leadership on a number of issues and believe that we have to actually take new approaches.
What are the new approaches? Nobody knows. She's gotten asked the same series of questions for the last month. How are you different than Joe? What happened to the border? How are you going to tackle inflation? Did you notice Biden was slowing down at any time? Oh, and who are you? And what are you going to do on day one? She's hurting herself on CNN and shows like The View. What does that tell you? The media's given up. And now they're embarrassed that they propped her up.
When she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city.
The word salad stuff gets on my nerves. I think that some of the evasions are not necessary. She focused a lot more on Donald Trump, I think it's fair to say, than she did on many specifics in terms of what she would do as president.
She's like a true double threat. You know, she's terrible on her feet when she gets unexpected questions, and simultaneously, she can't even answer the expected questions. It's nothing, nothing, nothing. Empty, empty, empty. If she were an animal, she'd be a duck-billed platitude.
Kamala went from the next Messiah to a duck-billed platitude. And you have to remember, these CNN people, they're there to help. This is a hand-picked town hall with her good friend Anderson, who isn't asking gotcha questions.
No.
Oh, what's your biggest weakness? What's your biggest mistake? These are questions an admissions director asks a 13-year-old applying to prep school. Leland, tell me about a challenge you've faced in your life that you were able to overcome. Could you see Anderson Cooper asking Trump the questions he's asking Kamala?
Never.
She is being held to a different standard, and she's not even up to it.
I think that she takes a really long time to get to her point, and that she does rely on talking points too often. I think she's gotten much better than she used to, but it's almost as if she's afraid to say something that will later come back to haunt her. I just wish she would say, this is our plan, or you're right, a lot of illegal immigrants have come into this country during the Biden administration, but this is why, and this is what I want to do about it moving forward. You know, I don't find her explanation of policy that compelling compared to, say, someone like Bill Clinton or Barack Obama.
Kamala's not Bill Clinton or Barack Obama. Tell me something I don't know, Katie.
Ain't that the truth?
The media made Kamala from scratch this summer and told everyone she was sensational, and are now disappointed she's collapsing during the home stretch. Kamala Harris was just a fantasy of the media's imagination, an anything but Joe doll that they pieced together in Chicago, and now they're all shocked she could barely walk. The scary thing is, if the election had been in September, Kamala might have won, and America would have been stuck with a woman not even cut out to be a small-town mayor. That's how corrupt the Kamala candidacy is. It was a ruse that ran out of runway. Trump transition team member and brand new Republican, Tulsi Gabbard, is here. We'll get to your transition in a second. Not that type of transition, but you.
It's a dangerous word.
The political transition. Why can't Kamala Harris, Tulsi, answer yes or no? Does she realize it's getting annoying?
I mean, clearly not, because she keeps doing it over and over again. You know, it's very clear that she is afraid to say the wrong thing, and the wrong thing is something that her pollsters have not scripted for her. And that's where you get all of these answers that don't answer the questions, that are very fair and legitimate, that voters and even the CNN guys are asking her. And instead you get this, like, you know, you can tell she pauses and she's trying to go through the Rolodex of talking points in her mind and then see if she can come up with the right one that generally fits with that topic, but even there she's failing. It does, to say it doesn't inspire confidence is putting it lightly. To me, it yet again points to how dangerous she would be as our president and commander-in-chief, knowing as you and I know who the powers that be are behind the curtain, who would be feeding her these talking points and making decisions about war and peace with Kamala Harris as their figurehead.
Yeah, if she's elected and she has a summit with Putin, I mean, what is she going to do with Vladimir Putin if she can't handle Anderson Cooper?
Oh, man.
Yeah, it is a dangerous thing and is yet more of an example of how disqualifying she has made herself for our presidency. The fact that she has no idea we have active duty troops deployed into combat zones around the world today. The fact that she doesn't know, apparently, that over the last 3.5 years, as she said, we have secure borders. In fact, we don't. The list goes on and on. She is lying to the American people. She is spouting talking points that pollsters tell her she needs to use in order to win this election. And yet again, showing how little she thinks of us, that we're going to fall for this nonsense and somehow elect her to the presidency. Those of us who are paying attention can see right through her and see who she really is.
Yeah, Tulsi, the questions are actually getting easier. Name a mistake you've made. Tell me your greatest weakness. These are like beauty pageant questions, and she's not even able to answer them.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, you just said, imagine if Trump did a CNN town hall and Anderson Cooper asked him those same questions. She is being held. They would never do that. They are holding her to a different standard. It is a far lower standard than they hold to Donald Trump. And it's certainly not the standard that they should hold to any candidate, asking the American people to trust them to be our president and commander-in-chief. We deserve better and deserve more.
All right, so a lot of people flirt with the idea of changing parties. They consider it. You've done it. You're still alive. Nothing happened. Your head didn't catch on fire. You still have your friends. No. Any advice for people that are considering this? Now you're a Republican. You used to be a Democrat.
This is what it comes down to. Independent thinkers like me have no home in the Democrat Party of censorship and total conformity and war. Under President Trump's leadership, the Republican Party welcomes people like us, encourages this open debate and different ideas, is pro-freedom, pro-peace. President Trump has transformed this Republican Party that is welcoming many, many people like me to come and actually stand for the core principles of our country, our Constitution, freedom and peace and prosperity.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
I love it. And I'm telling you this, like, if you would have told me in 4 years the Democratic Party would look like it does and the Republican Party would now be looking a lot like the independents, like RFK. I mean, this is the part where this election, I've never imagined this year. Remember, I said this like 4 or 5 months ago, everybody. I said this was going to be the craziest election that the United States has ever had, and it has. We've had assassination attempts. We have people switch parties. We have RFK and Tulsi Gabbard join Donald Trump. We have Elon Musk campaigning for Donald Trump, giving $1 million away every day. You now have, remember, Joe Rogan. Now, this is going to be big. This is coming tomorrow. But Joe Rogan said that he would never do a podcast with Donald Trump. Tomorrow, she's doing a podcast with Donald Trump. Lots of things are changing. People see where the state is at, and they want change. People want better America first mentality. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. Y'all have been amazing tonight. Thank you to everybody in the chat. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really does help to grow the channel. We want to make sure you have the top news every day. We're going to make sure that every single day you're seeing the true results, the truth of what's going on, no matter where it comes from. And this is going to be, I'm telling you, I feel like we're going to win this, y'all. Want to give some shout outs to Judy Lynn Loving for the super chat, the British perspective. Y'all show them some love in the chat, everybody. We appreciate all of our members of the channel. If you want to join, the link is in the description. I'm telling you, like, we're getting close. So I have a big thing of what I'm working on, what I want to do for next month's charity in terms of giving back. And I think it's going to be around Thanksgiving, providing meals, doing things like that. So I'm just letting y'all know that's kind of what's in my mind. Y'all let me know your thoughts. Love you all so much. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you then.